Wait a minute, seems like it takes a minute to start recording. Okay, this is a Community Preservation Committee meeting on April 4th, 2023. And my name is Ann Mazar, and I'm the chair of the committee, and I represent the Land Use Committee. So why don't we go around the room?
Peter Denton, Housing Authority. Mike Mandalay, Conservation Commission.
Barry Adirola, Planning Board.
Lynn Roberts, Historic Commission.
Dan Byer, Parks Commission.
Mike Otis, Select Board.
Simpson, D Simpson, do you want to introduce yourself? Right. So, do you want to approve the minutes first? That's quick. Did everybody get a chance to read them?
Yep.
Someone want to make a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Why don't we now talk about the annual town meeting warrant articles? So kind of go through them and we could vote on all of these and hopefully be ready for the town meeting, but I think we have one meeting before the town meeting in case we need to make any changes, so. The first article is the historic article on the records for $117,500. Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And let's make it with a dollar amount because, well, we have to do that.
I do not have my, I don't have my documents.
sorry,
Do you have a spare copy? Okay.
And.
Yeah.
So I think. We need to vote on the full 176.
Yeah.
Okay,
But it's only, but it.
in the end, it'll be
yes.
170. Okay,
right.
we gotta be careful. That could cause a problem in the book somewhere.
So, Lynn, do you want to make the motion?
Sure. To see if, do you want me to just read this out?
Sure.
Okay, to see if the town will vote to transfer $176,250 from the Community Preservation Historic Preservation account to be used as matching funds for Massachusetts Preservation Project Fund grant. The matching funds will be used to begin stabilization and restoration work needed for the records room located at 13 Main Street. The matching request is for a 50%, $117,500 of the total cost, plus an additional 25%, which will be returned to the Community Preservation Historic account after all project costs have been reimbursed or act to do anything in relation thereto.
Okay, second,
Second.
discussion.
I went and looked at it that following weekend. And I'd like to see some, before I vote yay on this, I'm all in favor for the project, but I'd like to see some plans pointing the inside of the stone foundation will not keep the water out. I believe that you gotta dig around the foundation and pour a foundation wall up against it. Then
Your
put-
2.4 is you stop water from coming in by doing it outside.
Right. You'll never stop the water from the inside. You gotta stop it.
And Catherine's gonna bring that back to the folks that.
I hope so. I think she was gonna.
Yeah, I think she was.
That's what I was gonna ask. I know she said something and I don't remember where, because she said she talked to you. Maybe it was when I talked to her. That
It
you
was
had,
on an
you had a bunch
email,
of suggestions that she thought was good and she was gonna follow up with the engineer and I didn't hear any more from that.
I didn't hear
So
anything more.
Armando got back to her.
I explained it to her in detail, so she had enough
Ask her.
knowledge to talk to whoever's gonna give her the price.
Okay.
Yeah. She kind of knew what she was talking about
Right.
instead of.
Yeah, and she did because she wrote, there was an email that she sent out, I think, after she'd actually visited with you, Mike, and it did say in there that she was going to be talking to the architect, the civil engineer as well about it, but I haven't heard any response yet. But I'm thinking that she probably only had a day to do that, maybe yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, I'm all for the project. Might cost a little more than that. So we could vote that with a contingency on the final approval of a solution for the water problem that's occurring. I took a good look at the underside. It's in tough shape, but it can be saved. But anything you do to the wood structure will be useless if you don't stop the water.
And there was something about putting a French drain in as well, I believe.
Yes, but when I looked at it, they had a sump pump on the inside, and it was just gurgling water. There's plenty of water in there, 6 inches of water in the basement. And they had a sump 1.5 deep.
It wasn't pumping.
I personally think that it's pumping into a line that's supposed to go out to the street into the drain. I think that line's crushed. I was gonna try to get up and bring one of my pumps up and pump it out to see if, because you can't judge if the water's coming up.
Yeah, there's been
That-
issues with that. I know Rich tried to stabilize, the pipe would freeze, it would break off, it has like plastic, but what you're saying, I wouldn't be surprised if something's further clogged or who knows what.
Right, so the pump's pumping, working, it's working great, but it's not pushing. It's just, you know what I mean, because there's no relief for
It'll burn out.
the discharge. Right, and it'll eventually burn up.
Would we amend the motion to be a conditional approval pending plans, specifically that water issue be addressed
Right.
Externally versus the current internal plans?
I mean, you're gonna putting an under drain is terrific. But I'd like to see something where they consider bringing the pipe to daylight or to a bigger sump with a properly dug drain and sump pump. That would have a float and have its own
Right.
own electricity, its own circuit.
Motion be conditioned upon seeing final plans, and we've probably got 2 more options, 1 more meeting plus a day of
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
rescind, right?
Cause it might be a little more money. It's probably gonna be more money, but like I said, if throwing money at it and not having it, the proper plan to fix it.
Yeah, you're wasting money.
Do you have an idea how much more looking, like, do something like that if you were to tack on?
Well, again, it all depends on the contractor.
Yeah.
You get again, and I don't mean to belittle anybody, but if you get a backyard contractor, it's gonna cost a lot of money because they don't, to dig and pour a one-sided concrete wall. And you come up to the bottom of the granite sill, there's a big granite sill going. Come up to that, which it would be ground level, and you can grade. There's some serious grading's gotta get done
Get the
to
water
stop the
right.
water from running right down where the bulk, if there was a bulkhead there. Well, that's where the water's heading. So I think the water's running in from the surface also.
Did you say that also you think you should have a French drain on the outside?
The French drain should be on the outside.
Oh, could they have it on the inside in that?
Well, that's,
And they
I
were gonna
guess
point
that's
the
what they're
inside the
talking.
foundation too, so that wasn't gonna stop anything. Water was gonna come in, get the French drain and then go out.
Right, why let the water in?
Right, at all.
At the beginning? But again, you gotta, some engineering has to be done to figure out is there a spot you can go to daylight or a new drain to tie into the street, which again, it's, I don't know what the street looks like.
Right, you can't just dump it on the surface.
Right.
Well, I believe that the drain is part of their scope of work. Cause
Yeah.
they specified a French drain, so I assume that would include where that water goes.
Well, like I said,
I mean, I've been ready to be on the
have
plans,
you
but
seen it? Have you seen it?
If they're putting a French drain inside.
oh, I know
they're
exactly what
probably
you're
bringing
saying.
to the pump.
It definitely needs to be all tied in and improved. And I met with her. I mean, I think everything you said makes a lot of sense that would make a big
All
difference.
right, and again, I'll say it again, I'm all for the project.
Yeah.
That's a,
But when they put a French drain inside, they bring it to the sump.
Right.
So,
So you gotta pump it
yeah,
out, but where you gonna pump it to?
So it's like, let's say the water was coming from the bottom up. Would that still prevent the water from getting in the basement if you just did the outside?
Well, you would put, the industry standard is you would dig outside around whatever you want to keep dry, lower than the floor.
Okay.
Gravity goes to the low, water will go to the low spot because of gravity.
Would that be an issue if, I mean, this is just like part one that we're looking at here? In time where we actually want to have a bathroom there, would that wall compromise that plan at all?
Well, whether you put a concrete wall or not, if that gets decided, you still got a field stone wall and the stones are this big.
Right.
So you're gonna point the joints.
but the bathroom was
And
more
then-
than an addition, so it doesn't matter.
It is an addition.
So where is that? Where's the septic system gonna be?
It's
So right now, I don't believe any of that is part of, the scope of
not
work
on
is
the
just
particular-
preliminary.
right.
I'd have to go back and look at and read through this whole scope, whether they're gonna do a septic, it's gonna have to be a tight tank. There's no room for a
Yeah.
leaching field. There's no option.
Whatever
Well.
gets designed there.
Right.
Um,
But
I'm
that's.
sure
not
there's
to
other-
this
there's
point,
other-
though.
you know,
That's like down the road. We just want to stabilize the building and get the building watertight.
So to stabilize the
Yeah.
building, you wanna stabilize the
The wall.
foundation first.
Right,
There's no sense doing anything on top of a weak foundation.
right. That was part of it, yeah, so, okay, well, I'll call Kathy tomorrow and find out, and we will get in touch with them and get an idea of what cost and what they feel about that.
Okay, and then maybe you could send
Send
an
it to you.
email, let us
Mhm.
know, and
Yeah,
at the
to
next
everybody.
meeting,
Yep.
well, maybe at the next meeting, we'll vote on the motion. All right, hi
I
Karen,
mean, we could vote it now. Like I said, I'm all for the project. We could put in a condition that when the plans are final, release the money or whatever, but I'm not looking to stop the project.
if we can, I mean, if we can wait another meeting, it's probably worth it and let Kathy reach out and make sure they can amend their scope of work. To
as a
get,
way just to vote
well,
on.
especially like the issues with the wall for sure. I mean, if he can come back and confirm the dollar amount on that, I mean, that's pretty critical. And I don't think it hurts anything to wait another month unless we need this approval now.
As
we're
long
gonna
as we have
meet
a quorum
again.
at the next meeting, we should be able to vote it. So
I mean, well, when's the next, so the next meeting would be,
it's the first Tuesday of
the
the month, so
Tuesday.
it should be before the town meeting, right?
the town meeting's on Friday,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd also get the details so
so,
folks can look at them before that meeting.
yeah.
If possible.
Yeah.
If possible.
We'll
Like
get
I
the
said-
information and send it to everybody first, and then would be an issue of just like voting on it, but yeah.
She said, we were gonna talk more about it after Lynn was back from her trip, haven't set anything up yet. So maybe if she
Lynn's
can follow up with Armando, yeah,
Well, physically, yes.
All right,
Okay, we'll
All right.
find out and
that
we'll,
would
I'll
be,
email everybody as soon as I get a reply from Kathy. And then, so to let you know what's going on. And then once we've spoken to Armando, the design company, we'll see what they have to say and send that to you. So before the next meeting too.
Right, it's gonna take some time, it's gonna take them some time to come up with a design. They're gonna have to do some investigating.
Right.
I would presume if you guys said to me, well, tell us what we gotta do, I'd go over there and dig a couple test pits and see what it looks like out there. Now, does that present any problems? I know there's a issue with the property. You know, how much,
we own the front of it at least.
right,
front
but you
yard.
you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that they're gonna, nobody has X-ray vision, so
Right,
I would suggest they dig down a couple of test pits on each, at least on each side of the building. And just see what the groundwater does.
Does anybody add a guesstimate on what the total cost of this project is gonna be?
well, if they get the
100
grant, the grant would pay for half of it,
So I mean, the whole thing includes the bathroom and the septic
yeah.
and the well and.
No, not as yet. And the reason for that is I mean, while there's a grant there to actually, the main thing that we want to do at the moment is stabilize it, secure it, keep any mold
Right,
out.
so it
keep
doesn't get
mold
any
out,
worse.
so it doesn't get worse. Then we want to put together a complete plan. I feel that we shouldn't go to the town and ask for money for a building that we don't know what we're going to do with. We don't want to spend all this money putting a bathroom or this kind of thing in there. We've got to find a use for it. And we've got several different ideas on that right now, but we have no idea yet. We want to do the stabilization first. I've had a couple of meetings with the Lowells, and I've just got to put together something for the select board. They're giving us that, and the land at the back, they're really not worried about. There's like, I think 3 trees in the back that that is in the tree warden's budget to take down, those old trees that they'll need. And Jane and David are absolutely fine. They just want to see that little building taken care of. So we will be working with town council as well to make sure that that property gets transferred over. But we really do want to come up with a good use for it. We just don't want to have an empty building and then we've got to maintain it and we don't know what we're going to do with it.
Selectmen used to meet in there.
Yeah. My suggestion is to restore it to its original condition and have a museum. I
That,
mean, that's a federal style architecture for that.
right. The main problem with that is we've already got a museum 4 doors further down that's not being used. And it's all maintenance then that comes on the town. We would ideally like some way of, I mean, it would be great if we could restore it. What we'd like to do is restore it as a law office because we've got all the Seth Hastings law books. So it'd be neat to put in there and then maybe we can use that as a meeting / storage space for some of the other events in town. I don't know who, but we would like ideally for it to pay for its own maintenance every year. But we've got to work on that. So until we get the right idea behind it, we don't really know what the final cost is going to be.
And I think that would be, again, would be charged you guys. But again, I'll say it again, I'm all for it. I'm
Yep.
all for restoring it. That could really look like a nice,
Oh, yeah.
But the
Bill.
thing one is preserve it and then
Yeah.
stop it
2
from
is
falling
figure out
in.
how to use it, right?
Yeah. Figure out how to use it and what we're going to need
Yeah.
in it. And then we would do like a phase 2. But I mean, we're working with grants and everything for this. We don't want to keep having to go back to the town to ask for more money for something that, we don't know what we're going to use it for.
If it was complicated enough, would you want to talk directly to the engineer to understand,
I'd be happy. Maybe the engineer should come in and talk to us, or if he comes in to talk to you, let me know. I'll try to make the
Okay.
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be happy to.
because you might have she might come back with information and you might have questions and it might be like kind of a back and forth type of thing where.
Yeah, we could actually even meet up there and see, But definitely, I will be in touch with you as soon as we've heard from him.
That's great. And you, like Mike said, you want to do it fast just because it'll take
yeah.
that time to come up.
Yep.
with it.
Mhm.
I just want to tell Karen, who's on this meeting, that the meeting is being recorded. I don't know, said you're supposed to say that, so. Okay, all right, so
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Because all the meetings are recorded.
all right, so why don't we move on? The next article is, okay, I don't know what to do with this next article.
It's really dependent on Kim to get back with sort of what the dollar amount is. This is
Right, well, yeah.
a placeholder, right?
It is, sort of. Lynn, did you, get any information on putting the windows in the town hall, or is that sort of?
No.
No, okay.
No, we're not in a position to deal with that right now. We're not in a position to do anything about that right now.
All right, okay, so we'll just wait till the next meeting, and then if we don't have information, then I guess.
I don't think there will be.
But I think this is on Kim, not you.
Well, sorry. I say there's an engineer, I believe, that's supposed to be coming back with the plan, correct?
Right,
That's
that's
what
what
we're-
Kim's coordinating that and you consolidated it. And
To what, replace the?
I
all the
can't
windows?
really, we've got to go before the select board because I'm very unhappy about several things on that.
I don't know.
So, yeah, we're gonna need
When
to.
this was reviewed in the select board meeting, I walked away thinking Kim was driving this now, and I was surprised she was speaking to it.
Well, yes, but a historic's not being involved in it. And this is one of the things that we are just
Well,
putting together
there
something
might
right
be
now.
Two things going on here.
Right.
That's my guess, but.
But
this
the
is
town
actually-
hall windows, we are not doing anything on at the moment.
But you
Whether
did-
Kim is,
You did meet with Kim and you decided to consolidate your project with her project, to have a single project and a single architect. That was discussed, I know that.
and we've not done anything. We've
in
not
the
had
architect's
anybody
as
come
far
back
as
to
I
it
know.
since.
Right,
then.
that meeting we had was the last I've heard of anything.
Right, but
Supposedly
he
he's
hasn't
working
done
on it,
anything
right.
back. and-
She's not done anything on
I
it
think-
as far as I
So
know.
my, like, for, for the scope of this committee, I think the replacement of the windows obviously needs to be historic. So I think like Mike was just saying, we would want to see the design for those historic windows, what they're going to look like, blah, blah, blah. And then we could make an informed decision on the use of CPA historic funds specifically for the windows. But we would need that information, which, like you said, we're waiting on.
I
You
think
know,
everybody's wearing it.
anything else outside the windows, I guess, is
Plant.
maybe not a problem, but maybe not the CPA's problem.
An ADA,
Yeah, tell them, make them
something I
match.
think Kim did mention,
There you go.
want to see some
Mhm.
ADA work, which would be CP.
I thought,
Specific.
yeah, I try to remember the conversation. It was windows and potentially the doors. And at the time, I don't remember if there was talk of. Because the real question is, if you have to do work on that elevator, is it maintenance? Is it new ADA work? Who knows?
There is old business on the agenda, select board agenda now.
Good.
It's on there for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I mean, I can raise it to confirm
Tell them what you want, they'll come up.
that we're waiting on specs, which includes the windows, and that I'll confirm Kim is driving the identification of what the money might be, but this is just a placeholder. Is that fair?
Okay, so we're not gonna vote on anything until like the next meeting when we might.
Yeah, I
have
mean, I
more.
don't think you can, because we
Okay.
really don't know what you're voting on yet.
Exactly.
So I'll take that one.
Okay,
Follow up.
all right. So the next article is the police station debt. Would someone like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to see if the town will transfer $133,306 from the community preservation accounts to fund the FY 24 police station debt exclusion or act or do anything in relation thereto.
Second,
Session? Those in favor?
All right.
Next one, someone want to read that motion?
Make a motion to approve the article to see if the town will set aside for later spending from the FY 24 community preservation revenues. $76,660, 10% for open space, 76,660, 10% for historic preservation, 76,660, 10% for affordable housing. 498, 293,065% budget reserve, and 38,335% for administrative or act or do anything in relation here too. Very good.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
I,
Okay, the next one, I combined the two articles that we've had about a free affordable housing position. So it's just in one article because that's what the select board suggested. Someone wanna read
Sorry.
it? Oh, no, I didn't know if we should do it separate, so it was clear, but one motion is fine for me.
Make a motion to approve an article to see if the town will transfer some money from the CPA Affordable Housing Coordinator account to the CPA Affordable Housing account, leaving a sum of money in the CPA Affordable Housing Coordinator account to fund the FY 24, FY 25 part-time Affordable Housing Coordinator position, or have to do anything in relation thereto.
All right, any discussion?
is it? First year is still free, and we still have the option when we get a report towards the end of the first year that we can evaluate if it was worth it.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Getting the applicants.
I haven't heard anything.
I think they're just sending out like, or whatever.
I mean, they're targeting July 1. They
Oh,
thought that might be
yeah, it's-
best case.
Yeah.
I will, for what it's worth, I mean, we've been working with them with master plan and then in open space and rec. They're really on the ball with some of this stuff. So I think there's potential to have some real good resources, but it, you know, hopefully we'll be able to evaluate and see what's working for us. But so far, from what I've seen from CMRPC, they've been great.
On the contract that Kim signed, I think it was for 1 year. I'm not sure if it was 2 years. Like,
I thought it had a pretty
Thought it was for 2
simple, you
years.
could just pull out at any time. You just had to pay some, you know, they had to some notice or something. I don't
Well,
think
you
anything
know
was
what,
crazy
we
binding
should
per
find
year.
out, we're voting on this, somebody at the town hall gets up and asks these very questions.
Yeah,
But I thought the discussion was we were signing for 2 years. First year was free. We were paying for 1 year to get 2.
that's what I
Yeah.
sort of thought too, and that the reason we split it.
Right,
that
and
we
that's
wanted
why
to
we, that's why we
Right,
That's what we're
put
doing.
half of the money in this budget season and then
right.
half
So
the,
that's why
with the option of we don't like it, or we don't think it's worth our while, we can back out of it.
I think, I mean, that's my
Yeah.
understanding, and we said after year one, we'd reevaluate. I think Kim was even saying year by year. She wasn't even going to 2 years, but we wanted to put half the money up front. Sort of a show of good faith and
Right.
we can get out. if We need to.
I found that this, assuming this is the final version, this agreement may be terminated by any party for any reason with 3 months' notice, basically.
okay.
And then it says that the town shall equitably adjust any payments made due to unexpired portions of the term following such termination.
Any penalty?
Um, Under such termination, CMRPC shall prepare full statements of outstanding unpaid financial obligation and present the same to the terminating town for payment within 30 days. My reading of this is basically as long as you give them 3 months notice, you pay for that 3 months, but you don't pay anymore going forward. Because I think their hope is that, you know, there's enough towns involved that one town deciding to leave would not, you know, tear it apart like it would if it was just a partnership.
I think our hope would be that
But
it'd be worth our while
Mm.
for it. I'm sure it's their hope too, that they can service every town that signs on.
So just someone, should we go make a motion then? I guess we did
Oh.
make the motion.
We
Right,
did.
okay.
They made the
Okay,
motion.
all right.
Voted on it. Yeah, I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we vote on it?
No.
No, okay, yeah. All right.
Motion
Any more
made
discussion?
second for discussion.
So any more discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyway, any nays? No, was it all aye? Okay. Oh, so what do you want to do about the next one? The,
well, so yeah, so the deal with the lights, we're having trouble getting quotes. Musco, I've tried 2 different people, they're not responding to me. Supposedly the youth sports had somebody they were working with. Supposedly they had a proposal in hand that no one can now produce a copy of. I've been asking and asking. So I think my suggestion at this point, I mean, if we want to let it go another month and see if we can get the number in, but
Are we looking for, are we looking for a quote from a manufacturer or from an, electrical outfit that's
these are,
gonna install it and supply them?
well, there's specialty companies that specialize in athletic field lighting, soup to nuts. They design the system, install the system. You know, so they spec out all the components and all that. So that's like Musco is the big one. And supposedly somebody I think it's a pair, somebody involved with the group works for a company and had gotten this much more realistic proposal. Because the Musco proposal was a lot of money. Because they just want to sell you stuff versus actually design, you know, something that maybe you can share poles and have some overlap. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, that it's not the end of the world if it has to wait another year. And I looked it up, so we could wait until November and still apply for the grants as part of this cycle. We have to commit by December 31st. I don't know
Of this year?
of this year. You know, it kind of came down the road at the right time to get on the warrant. So if we, you know, don't want to stress ourselves and wait,
do you want to wait a month and then see?
I have a billion projects I've been working on, and of course, this one just kind of all of a sudden everybody vanished that was gonna jump in and get quotes. So I haven't really had time to get on the phone with these people. So if we don't mind, wait till the May, and then
Okay.
if we don't have enough numbers, my suggestion is just pass it over.
Oh, because I guess it will go on the warrant though.
Well, I think it's too late to come off the warrant
Oh, it
anyway,
is, okay.
unless, I don't know, you might have to reopen anyway. Might be worth pulling this, but
Yeah, I don't think they'll pull it, but we'll probably pass it over. Did, the questions everybody had about the load and all that back and forth in the last discussion, you guys get answers to your questions?
I think I emailed you all. I looked through the Musco, the old proposal, so they were proposing a 100 amp system in total for both fields. So without diving into, getting more detail, probably the way to do that is you just come right off the Lowell softball. So there's an existing, it's a 100 amp service, but it's old, so you'd upgrade it to a 200 amp service and tie in right there. But that's something we'd have to get them to look at as part of the proposal.
Shouldn't be too bad. These LTD lights don't take anywhere near the power those big floods used to take.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, it's not like that turf field, he's got like some monster bank of transformers for those lights because they're halogen over the NEFC. So these would be much less use.
We can leave it on. If you don't want it on, we should probably take, I think they're still working on the warrant. I don't think Laura's sending, because she's
Oh,
asking.
it's
me.
closed because
Nobody know, but like, I think she's still putting it together though.
well, other than the
Another
issue with the
warrant.
campus project, I think they have to formally reopen the warrant if they want to add that easement thing on there. That's what Laura told me,
The easement for,
the poles and all that lovely
We'll
adventure.
talk about
Right.
that tomorrow night.
Speaking of utilities. Surprise.
all right, so just leave it and then.
I
we'll
think
see.
I would recommend just leaving it, and then if we have to pass it over, I think it's just, we're obviously not gonna vote on it if we don't have actual numbers and information.
Okay.
And with any luck, they'll have another fundraiser event and hopefully be able to raise more money too, so. Which they were gonna do anyway, but we might have some better numbers.
All right. The next article, someone want to read that?
Move your article to see if the town will transfer $1,200 from the RR gutters account voted at this June 29th, 2020 ATM, Article 19 into the CPA accounts or act to do anything in relation thereto.
Okay.
What does $0 finished with project mean?
Meaning they didn't use all the money that was in that account, and so now we just want to put it back in the CPA accounts.
Okay.
It was to put gutters up.
So you're saying
This is for the
you're
record.
saying we're not spending money?
The gutters were never put up.
They're never put up.
So the $1,200 that was allocated for that was never used.
So we're just trying to clean up accounts then. I mean, do you want to put gutters in?
Yeah.
And so we should leave that on then.
Yeah, I mean,
You're gonna be able to get them done for
Thought the
$1,200.
Well,
understanding was that it
that
was
was-
just
that was-
part of it.
no, as far as I'm aware,
That was 3 years ago.
yeah, from when they gave us I'm going on what I've been told here. They gave us a quote. It was $1,200. They set a date that they then rescheduled. And then there was problems with the actual records room. And so it's been in abeyance all the time, waiting. And then Kathy has called these people, I think, several times, and they just have not responded. Because as you say, who's going to want to put gutters up for $1,200? Even if they were, that was the quote and they're not going to stand by it. So, I mean, way that I look at it right now, we should have done that because for all we know, that's what's causing all the water that's going into the basement is the water that's coming off the roof and there's no gutters on it to stop it going straight down into that foundation. So we're going to spend all this money to put a cement wall around, stop anything going in, and then we've got no gutters to take it away from the building.
Well, I think that the gutters would be thrown in as part of the rehab of the building.
Right. Well, and that was what I think that was why this money has just been sitting there, as far as I know.
So the rehab that's happening, are gutters included in that?
No, not as far as I know. I haven't checked on that one. Do you know about that, Dan? If they're
Looking
in
at
there
the scope
not?
again, I'd be, at this point now, if we're, this is the problem we ran into, something like with the campus project too. We're entering into a comprehensive project. Everything to do now with the record room should be part of this project instead of these side jobs. Because it's
Right.
real easy for stuff to get conflicting.
Right, so I think when we speak,
Uh,
when I speak to him about this water, I need to make sure that gutters are included in that too, because
Okay.
they've not been. I think they've just been, waiting for somebody to come along and it's not
Right.
happening.
gutters should be incorporated into the under drain if the
The
under drain.
downspouts should be piped.
Right,
Right. Be part of this whole
Exactly.
project.
Well, why don't you double check and then we'll vote on this on the next meeting.
Okay.
and
Okay.
before you put gutters up, you gotta evaluate the soffits, make sure there's no sense putting new gutters up if you gotta rip them, take them down to
Yep.
repair soffit or restore soffit.
How's the roof? Well,
It was redone not that long ago.
And I think it was not done. I think the roof is fine
The
because
side
when the roof
of
was
both.
done was when when the roof was done, the gutters were all supposed to have been part of it. And then this part of it was never finalized and I don't know why. I just think that,
Okay.
I have
Well,
no
just let
idea.
us know,
yeah.
and you can send an email beforehand if you have
Mhm.
information for our next meeting.
Well, again, just to say it one more time. So we have a building like that, you gotta start at the bottom, foundation, work your way up the last.
Yeah.
Not from the top down.
Oh, no.
From the bottom.
But I think that the roof was one of the issues with it many years ago. And so the roof
Oh,
was
yeah.
taken care of and
Yeah.
the rest of the building, as you say, was falling apart. So, but yeah, okay, let me find out and I'll let you all know.
On the housing, regional housing coordinator, I think the contract's only for 1 year anyways, but we were pretty much committed for the 2 years. I think we talked about that, so. The next article, someone want to read that?
To approve the article to see if the town will transfer some money from the community preservation account to subsidize an affordable housing project at 52 Providence Street or act or do anything in relation thereto.
So actually, we have to wait on this one too, because we won't have a dollar amount until we know if we have proposals, and the proposals are due on Thursday. And if we do, and we select someone, then they may or may not have an amount, so we have to wait on this one also. The next ones we have to talk about in executive session, so. What else we have on the agenda? Well, just the fact that, we've had people that have, came to the, meeting where they, saw the 52 Providence Street for the affordable housing. And, there was like 3 groups that were interested. And so we don't know, who's gonna submit something, but we'll find out on Thursday. So next month we'll know.
Kathy says that the gutters are part of the grant and
Okay.
can deposit that money back into the account.
Okay. Okay.
So at least that's one thing solved, but definitely we gotta look at that too. And where's the water going? Cause that's a big, that's what I was just on the site walk this morning for here. With all that bioretention.
So we were discussing that 1,200, but we didn't actually vote on it. Do we need to redo that one?
Right, you made the motion, Peter seconded it, so I think we can vote on it unless there's more discussion. Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I don't think we have anything else to discuss except for the executive session. And then once we come out of executive session, we will just adjourn, so
Reconvene only to adjourn.
we will reconvene only to adjourn.
Select board, then we don't have to have 2 videos.
Yes, and then we'll, stop this meeting.
Right.
So,
we still have a guest.
no,
She
yes,
got
left.
that. He was, Darren texted me, he was trying to test, he got a new computer, so he just saw the meeting and tried to join. He's one of the firemen.
Oh, okay.
And then it wouldn't let him unmute. He's like, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chair declares that an open meeting may be detrimental to the effect on the negotiating position of the public body. So Barry made the motion, and then Mike Mendelia, and I think we need a roll call vote, so.
Goddard, aye.
Dan, I.
And I,
Lena.
Sorry.
Barry, I.
Mike, aye.
Peter, I.
and I. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off. Stop recording.